to Seven Trumpets Prepper. And guys, in this video today is going to be an edition of the Hard Truth Show that is not streamed live. I want to address some things that I do not want to be distracted when I talk about this. And I think that it is going to be one of the conversations of our time. And that is the Epstein files release, the false deity that was burnt in Iran toward modern day Israel, and the powerful elite and the wealthy. I want to segment this out in three parts of this as I break this down, so just please let me get the whole thing out, and you can judge, comment, say whatever you want, but I just want to overlay it all before you judge me. That's all I ask. We have always lived, especially if you're 40 to 50 years old, from a young person up to now, from the time that it was really starting to be prevalent, we have seen the so-called elected and wealthy businessmen always kind of slide under the radar. You'll see that there was like a lawsuit paid off for inappropriate activities, or that a person got caught doing this or that and their wife divorced them, yada, 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 yada. And you never really got that full front explanation of what really went on in the background. And in a minute, of course, when we touch on the Epstein files, we'll get that. But I was listening to the radio this morning when I got up, and I asked Alexa to play me Country Roads. And it just so happened it played, was Oliver Anthony or whatever. And he played, or after that, it went to the next song, and it was Rich Men North of Richmond. And I thought, man, that although that song has some profanities and stuff in it, it definitely hits the tone of the rich men north of Richmond want to control us all. And it is so true. And, one thing I've noticed is that wicked people, especially wicked people, want to control the lives of other people so badly. I don't know what the infatuation with that is. I can barely keep my own life in order. I do not want the responsibility nor the power over other people's lives. Maybe one day when I perfect my character, maybe then, we could have a discussion, but that ain't happening right now. And I have 2 children to still raise and to be an honorable husband to my wife, and I've got enough on my plate. I just don't need to be policing up other people's lives. And we find that the people that are in power today, like Donald J. Trump, for example, our president, has this issue with being reproved for things. This whole ICE situation is so bad that they are asking social media outlets and other people for the names and addresses and phone numbers of those that criticize ICE. Well, I guess I'll probably be on that list because I have been hypercritical of them and will continue to be. We're murdering citizens in the streets, and we're abducting people, and apparently now there's even agents doing sexual acts to certain individuals whenever they've taken them, and that's coming out. Not to mention the lady who got shot the other day, and now she's done testified on Capitol Hill. But, when you see this that's went on for all these years, now you see that as these people are coming out, and which I'm about to segue into the Epstein files in a minute, is as they've come out, they're losing their jobs, they're dipping out, they're losing their places and their homes and their marriages, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it is becoming profoundly obvious what has been going on for a long time. And I'm covering this from like a physical standpoint because I want to get to the spiritual, because there is a linkage rod between the wealthy elites and politicians and all the corrupt to Epstein, to what just happened in Iran where they burnt that statue. It all links together. See, this has been going on since just a little after creation. People think that pedophilia, the murder of innocents, the raping and terrible debaucherous things that's done to the innocent, that, this is just a rare occurrence, but it has actually been going since the dawn of man. And it is disgusting. I mean, like when we think of the lake of fire for the fallen ones, I definitely understand why many will be joining them in it, because this is just terrible. I can't even, in my mind, compute hurting a little one. And especially now as a father of not one, but two little girls, I have immense concern in my heart in the world that I have to raise them in, as opposed to my 21-year-old son that's a man now. And I had concerns trying to raise a young boy. And it is just, it's something else to see. And when we look at the Epstein files moving into that, is that, I watched Pam Bondi on Capitol Hill give whatever circus act that was. Just the portions that I watched of it was so detestable. I would think that as a woman, you would want to protect other women from being done terrible acts to, but I digress. I mean, look what, look what went on at Epstein Island, and the blind eye was turned there too, and there was females there. So, I mean, if at any point right now you cross paths with people and you still see them defending our president, elected officials, businessmen, and they say, well, everybody does this stuff, Luke, everybody's a sinner, blah, 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 blah. You see people defending people like this, you need to mark them and you need to avoid them. You need to cut them out of your life, because they are bad, wicked, evil people. Whether they look like they're decent human beings, they might act like they're decent human beings, but anybody that even turns a blind eye to this stuff and doesn't call it for what it is on the carpet is bad people deep in their soul. It is the most sickening thing I have seen in my 40 years of life up on this earth, that's by the grace of the Most High, y'all, that I'm even alive. It is sickening to the core. And there was this one picture I seen, and it looked like about between 2 and 3 year old little toddler. And, she was in like a little sundress, and of course her personal area was covered with a blacked out thing, and her face was covered, and Epstein was leaned down looking at her. And I just could not help think that could have been my daughter sitting there being mistreated. And after that, I didn't look at any more. I've really just tried not to look at any more of the files being released, but there's a ton of stuff I've seen that you cannot unsee it now, and you cannot unsee the people that was in it. And, as a person that's supposed to be following the laws of this republic and paying my taxes and observing the speed limit and doing all I'm supposed to, I got to be honest with you, I'm not highly motivated to do it anymore at all. There's two sets of rules here, and it's going to continue to diverge into that as we get closer to 7 trumpets Revelation starting. And that is, there's those for the wicked and the elite at the top, and there's those for the rest of us, the peasantry at the bottom. And so at this point in conjuncture, I am inclined just to do as thou wilt, and within the terms of that I don't deviate from the Torah, because Satanism is do as thou wilt too. That's some Aleister Crowley stuff, I know, but I don't want to go down that path. I'm just saying, at this point, if it's not breaking Torah, I'm just content to just do my own thing, homie. And the files are not going to go away. Like, I think it's Massey that's up there. He said in a post the other day, I'm just summarizing, that, he's not suicidal, he eats well, blah, 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 all these things that could potentially take him out. He's like, if something happens to me, because he's not letting the clutch up on it, and I salute him. He's a Republican, but honestly libertarian leaning, because I can just tell by his actions, and that's pretty much what they say in the news too, just looking at how he moves. And I'm a libertarian when it comes politically, and that is going to be interesting to watch to play out, because Donald Trump, our president's legacy, will be marked by the Epstein files. It will carry with him unto eternity. What was it Russell Crowe said when he played Maximus Decimus Aurelius or whatever in Gladiator? He said, what we do now echoes into eternity. And if we look at Revelation 18, I believe it's Revelation 18, talks about the rich men of the earth and the mighty men it deceived the nations because of the drug sorcery. And if we look, many of those that are participants in that were also the same people that were at Epstein's Island participating in the exploitation of minors and young women. And I would honestly say there was young boys apparently involved too, so there's that. And if you look at what just happened in the Middle East, in the deity that got burnt, just put Iran burned statue. I would Google Iran burned statue, and it was, directed toward modern day state of Israel. And as I've said, in 2015, which was 11 years ago now, I believe, and is over into the millions of views, or definitely over 1 million views for sure, is that I've told you as long ago, and check link video description below, of who the true Hebrew Israelites are, is that knowing who the true Hebrew Israelites are, then we can begin to understand who is the imposters in the land today, and that is the Synagogue of Satan that the book of Revelation speaks to, and that will come and bow down and worship before the true Hebrews. We can see that it is clear the message that those in that region are sending, that ultimately you see that the Epstein files, modern day Israel, and the elite of America are all interconnected. They're all interconnected. And there is apparently an email account still active in Israel that's linked to Jeffrey Epstein's Fortnite account. And there has been pictures taken of a person that looks just like him in Israel with security detail surrounding him. We could go deep dive and keep going into this. My point in case I want to make unto you is that the 6-point star and the so-called people of Israel today are not who you think they are. This all leads back to the Synagogue of Satan. It all leads back to that the Mesopotamian pagan wicked practices that was taking place in ancient times are still taking place today. It goes to show you the current people that are supposed to be our leaders and our upright elected officials and the men of power that in business, that these are actually some of the worst human beings up on the literal face of the earth. And if you are at any bit content with what is going on, if you are any bit confused as to what's going on, I would literally take an internal audit. I would do a very deep dive in my soul of where I'm at today. Because if you are not disturbed, if you are not upset, and if you are not sick of all this junk going on, there's something seriously wrong with you. I have seen, the last commentary I'll make on this is that I have seen many people be complacent, defend it, and then even attack those who have pointed out empirical data. And what I mean by empirical data, if you have a problem comprehending that, and I don't mean to insult people, I'm like really trying to reason with humanity today, is that if you don't understand what empirical data means, is it's like when you see a picture that is not AI generated, that has been released by the Department of Justice, and it has your favorite characters of real life people in it. Guess what? That is empirical data. And that means that these people are guilty of sin. And so moving forward, what is to be taken from all this being released is two things. Number one is things are not the least bit as they seem. These people are wicked and corrupt and have one end in mind, and that is the New World Order, digital ID. Every move you make, they're watched, just like I said that Oliver Anthony video, Richmond, north of Richmond. That is where it's headed. The second thing is ultimately the destruction of the human race. These false deities, these fallen angels, these spirits that are still at work in the world today, they have no interest but the destruction of human life. They have always wanted blood. They have always wanted children. They have always wanted worship. These things are ancient. They are far beyond your great ancestors' reach. I mean, this went back to the beginning of time, folks. And you have gotten an opportunity, real time today, to take a glimpse into the spiritual realm to see just how far reaching this goes, because nothing is as it seems. We are in a spiritual warfare for our lives. Things are about to absolutely come unhinged. And I promise you this was not released by accident. This was not released in a specific time other than this, because this is the hour before it all pops off. I'm telling you, like, whatever is to come, it's probably not too far around the corner, because there is a rift opening in society where you are seeing that. I've seen, I guess the close of this, I will say this, is that I've seen 3 instances now where I have been able to start to really test the spirits of people and know exactly where they stand, using empirical data, using the scripture, and using my own mind. And that is this. Quite some time ago, it was brought up about chemtrails, and that, governments are starting to ban them, on state level, and that they recognize they don't want chemtrails sprayed over the states and etc. Tennessee being one of them. People used to rail and say that chemtrails wasn't a thing, and now the government even recognizes it. Yet people are complicit and complacent, and will argue that ain't so. It's whatever. Yet literally in their face, you're seeing it. Okay, moving forward, CV-19 happened. Bodies started stacking. Luke got in trouble so many times on YouTube that not only did I almost not get my play button, I almost lost my channel. And I told people, the following is happening. The following is empirical data. This is happening to people years later. A few years later. Guess what? That empirical data is right there in front of people's face now. And guess what? A lot of people's in the grave, including people I know that took it. Unfortunate, very sad, but it's facts. Moving forward, the first touch of Epstein, and I believe I touched on this sometime back, is that the corruption of our elected officials, the things that are coming. I even told you 8 days before Trump was elected, he would be elected. I mean, the Spirit was definitely, I believe, speaking to me about that at this point, because everything that I warned about is pretty much either happened or is at the cusp. And keep in mind, people that claim to be prophets said that Kamala would be elected president, and she wasn't. I always like to remind everybody of that. And so moving forward, then here comes today. People are still in complete and utter denial. Now, see, I'm a red hat guy. I like my Nuka-Cola. I actually like the drink, too, the real drink that Jones Soda makes, even though it was just part of a video game. But the people that's the MAGA crew, they cannot move past this moment. They are defending a man and a movement, no matter how wicked and corrupt it is. If that doesn't move mountains and show you where we stand in society today, I don't know what to tell you. Folks, we are in the last hour, and I think that it is imperative and critical that if you have ever thought for yourself, acted for yourself, and got prepared for what's to come, it is now or never. So guys, as always, till we see you again here at Seven Trumpets Prepper Channel, I hope the Most High Yah Baruch you and keep you, make his face shine upon you, show you favor, and give you shalom, my friends. Yahushua name.